In this movie, you will see the world where money has no value. Time is everything. To buy anything, you must pay with the time you have left to live. Only then can you own that item. However, to live a good life in this world, you must have time in your possession. When a person turns 25, a one-year countdown clock appears on their forearm. The moment that countdown hits 0, the person dies. The rich had so much time they could live for 1,000 years. They built a separate world for themselves, Greenwich City, where they live a comfortable and secure life. Meanwhile, in the ghetto city, the poor work day and night to earn just enough time to survive. If they don't, their lives will end. In this slum lives a young man named Will, whose clock has only 23 hours left. He lives with his mother. Because aging stops at 25, his 50-year-old mother still looks very young. It is his mother's 50th birthday. To celebrate, Will worked overtime the previous night to buy a bottle of champagne. His mother is overjoyed and tells him, "I want to see my grandchildren. Why don't you date a girl?" Will replies, "Who has the time for all that?" Will's mother then tells him she must pay the electricity bill and a bank loan by the next day, or they will face a heavy fine. She says, "I only have 3 days of time left. Paying these bills will cost me almost all of it. So please wait for me at the bus stop tomorrow evening. That way, before my time runs out completely, I can take some time from you." Will agrees to be there on time. Before she leaves, Will's mother touches his hand and transfers 30 minutes of her time into his body so he can buy himself a good breakfast. They then both leave for their respective tasks. On his way, a little girl approaches Will. She gives him a capsule and asks for a little of his time. Will smiles and transfers 5 minutes of his life into the capsule, which she takes. This shows that people can store, use, and transfer time using these capsules. Will then arrives at the factory where he works. Before starting, he goes to buy coffee, but finds the price has doubled from 2 minutes to 4 minutes without any announcement. This frustrates Will, but out of necessity, he pays the 4 minutes and starts his work. After work, Will goes to a bar with his friend, who is a constant drunkard. His friend points out a man who is buying everyone drinks and has a massive amount of time. Will looks and sees the man is surrounded by women, and his clock shows 116 years. Will realizes this man, Henry, is from Greenwich City, as people in the ghetto rarely have more than 2 days. Will approaches Henry and warns him that it's dangerous for him to be there, as thieves could kill him for his time. Henry doesn't take him seriously and ignores him. Suddenly, a gangster named Fortis and his crew enter the bar, causing most people to flee. Fortis is the city's biggest thug who forcibly steals time from people. Will's friend tries to drag him away, but Will hides to watch. Fortis challenges Henry to a time fight, which is like arm wrestling. The competitors grip each other's forearms, and the one whose wrist is forced down loses their time, which transfers to the winner. The loser is usually killed. Henry, being drunk, asks for a moment to sober up. Fortis agrees and sends one of his men with him to the bathroom. In the bathroom, Henry is violently ill. Will arrives, knocks out Fortis's man, and helps Henry escape to a safe place. Will asks why he was being so reckless. Henry introduces himself and says, "I'm 105 years old. I'm tired of life. I've enjoyed everything and no longer need it. I don't want to live anymore." Shocked, Will asks what he means. Henry explains the cruel reality. The system is designed by the rich in Greenwich. Inflation is deliberately increased so the poor die off and the rich profit from their deaths. The time the rich have was collected from the deaths of the poor. I don't want to live a life built on the deaths of desperate people. Will, moved, realizes Henry is a man of conscience. Henry asks Will what he would do with so much time. Will smiles sadly and says he would first stop constantly checking his clock, as he now has only 18 hours. He says he'd buy a nice house in Greenwich for his mother so they could live happily together. They decide to stay put for the night. In the morning, Will is still asleep. Henry transfers almost all of his 116 years into Will's clock, leaving only minutes for himself. He then goes to a bridge and sits on the edge. Will wakes up, sees Henry is gone, and checks his clock. He is stunned to see 116 years on it. He sees a note on the window, "Don't waste my time." He spots Henry on the bridge, but it's too late. Henry's time runs out and he falls into the water below. Will is devastated. Understanding he will be a suspect, Will goes to his friend. His friend is shocked to see Will's fortune. As a token of friendship, Will gives his friend 10 years, for which his friend is immensely grateful. Will decides he must leave for Greenwich City to buy a house and a safe life for his mother. Will goes to the bus stop to wait for his mother as promised. Meanwhile, his mother, Rachel, after paying her bills, gets on a bus home. She discovers the bus fare has doubled from 1 hour to 2 hours. She only has 1.5 hours left. She begs the driver to let her off at the next stop where her son will pay, but he refuses and kicks her off. She knows the next stop is miles away. She desperately runs, trying to flag down cars and knock on doors to borrow a few minutes, but no one helps her. At the bus stop, Will grows worried when his mother doesn't get off the bus. He realizes she's in trouble and runs to find her. He sees her running toward him. He sprints toward her, arm outstretched to transfer time. But just as Rachel reaches her son, her time hits 0 and she dies in his arms. Will is heartbroken. The next morning, timekeepers, the police-like enforcers, find Henry's body. Officer Raymond investigates and, finding no clues, checks a nearby CCTV camera. The footage shows Will near the bridge, making him the prime suspect. Meanwhile, Will, blaming the rich system for his mother's death, heads to Greenwich City. To enter, he must pay a toll of 1 year of his time. Inside, he is astounded by the luxurious, worry-free lives of the people, where even bodyguards have centuries of time. This fills him with rage. Will goes to a casino where the rich play poker. He sits at a table with a wealthy man named Philip, who owns a time bank that loans time at high interest. Philip's daughter, Sylvia, is with him, the same girl who had noticed Will earlier. Will challenges Philip to a game and stakes all his time. Using his wits, Will wins, taking 1,100 years from Philip. Sylvia is impressed and invites Will to a party at their mansion. At the party, Will and Sylvia connect while dancing. Just as they are growing closer, Raymond and his timekeepers arrive and arrest Will, believing he murdered Henry for his time. Seeing him arrested, Sylvia assumes he is guilty. Raymond confiscates almost all of Will's time, leaving him with only 2 hours. While being interrogated, Will realizes he'll be framed. He seizes an opportunity, overpowers the officers, takes a gun, and uses Sylvia as a hostage to escape back to the ghetto. During the chase, Will's car hits a spiked strip laid by Fortis's gang on the bridge, causing them to crash. Fortis steals Sylvia's time, leaving her with only 30 minutes. Will shares his remaining minutes with her, equalizing their clocks. They go to Will's friend's house, only to find his friend drank himself to death with the 10 years Will gave him. With no time left, Will sells Sylvia's diamond earrings for 2 days of time. Will then calls Philip and Raymond, demanding a ransom of 10,000 years for Sylvia's return, with the condition that it be distributed to the poor. Philip, though he can afford it, refuses to help the poor. Sylvia is devastated by her father's choice, realizing he values the system more than her. She now understands the oppressive reality and joins Will's cause. They begin robbing Philip's time banks, stealing time capsules and distributing them to the poor. The government places a 10-year bounty on their heads. They are hunted by both the authorities and Fortis. Fortis eventually tracks them down and forces Will into a time fight. Will pretends to be weak until the last few seconds, then overpowers Fortis. In the confusion, Will pulls a hidden gun and shoots Fortis's men. Fortis's time runs out and he dies. However, the rich simply inflate prices, making the distributed time nearly worthless. Will and Sylvia realize they need a massive amount of time to break the system. Sylvia turns herself in to her father as a distraction. Will, who had hidden in the guards' barracks, ambushes Philip and forces him to open his personal vault. They steal a single time capsule containing 1 million years. Raymond, with less than an hour left on his clock, pursues them, foregoing his own salary transfer. Will and Sylvia give the million-year capsule to a little girl in the ghetto to distribute, knowing it will make the entire population immortal and collapse the system. Raymond corners Will and Sylvia in a deserted area. Both Will and Sylvia have only minutes left. Raymond threatens them, demanding the time back. Will reminds him, "You owe me time. I gave you some when you were dying." Raymond checks his clock and realizes in his pursuit he forgot to transfer his salary. He has only 5 seconds left. He dies instantly. Will and Sylvia now have only a minute left. Will spots Raymond's car and sprints to it, transferring the time from Raymond's salary capsule into his own clock. He then runs desperately toward Sylvia, who is also running toward him. Just as Sylvia is about to collapse, Will grabs her hand and transfers time, saving her life. Their mission is a success. The people of the ghetto, now with abundant time, are free. They flock to Greenwich City, and the oppressive system built by the rich collapses completely. If you like the story of the film, please hit the subscribe button for more such amazing film story.